Okay, let's unpack this. It is November 14th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're following the D.L.B narrative, and honestly at this point, who isn't?
Mm.
We are standing directly in the eye of a massive self-generated storm.
Which means we are just weeks away from the final, almost spiritual endpoint of this whole Daniel L. Bates story.
Yeah.
We're past the $171,000 collapse arc, that, raw financial and personal fallout we covered in our last dive.
Right.
And now we're staring down the barrel of his hard stop January 1st retirement date. And it doesn't just feel like a career ending, it feels like a spiritual disappearance.
A total vanishing act. So our mission today is, well, simple but incredibly heavy. We're diving deep into the emotional core and, the alleged sound of the two final releases that are still officially on the schedule.
Bipolar Scorpio and 11 Dreams.
That's right. Bipolar Scorpio on November 22nd, and then right after, 11 Dreams on November 28th. We are synthesizing everything, the leaks, the rumors, fan analysis, to try and understand what kind of final goodbye he's trying to deliver.
And we are pulling from everywhere. The darkest corners of the internet, from lo-fi track leaks to the absolute deepest fan theory threads on Reddit, all to shortcut you to the truth of this exit.
But before we jump into what are some incredibly volatile leaks, and, let's be honest, unverified rumors, we have to state this very clearly.
Yes.
The Deep Dive on podcast and Neon Core Media have no ownership of, or official connection to, D.L.B, V2B by D. Bates, Oryssey's Holdings, 11 SXX Music, Neon Vision Studios, or any other ventures in that whole ecosystem.
We're independent commentators reacting to public and leaked material only.
We are outsiders with an obsession, just like you. We're here to analyze the structure of the collapse, not to facilitate the empire. So let's start with the one that's supposed to just rip the whole thing open.
And all the pretense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's talk Bipolar Scorpio.
So Bipolar Scorpio is officially slated for November 22nd. It's positioned right before what feels like the final, more conceptual album.
And the marketing, what little there is of it, is calling this the year's raw, emotional finale.
A direct and unflinching confrontation with mental health struggles, grief, and the fear of mortality. That's the official line.
Thematically, this whole thing seems designed to just strip away all the artifice.
Right. We've seen D.L.B hide behind so many highly crafted personas over his career.
Oh, yeah. Dante East, at Daniel's vision.
And that hyper-commercial D.L.B from the Vegas residency era.
For sure.
This project, Bipolar Scorpio, it feels like it's forcing you, the listener, into the core, unfiltered mind of the man behind the music, Daniel Bates. It's like a final, painful act of transparency delivered right as the lights are going out.
It's the sound of the machine just grinding to a halt. And the entire emotional architecture of this album is, I think, perfectly captured by a leaked track that was actually rumored for his other project.
Shelved healing project, Mercy's Return.
Exactly. This track provides the thematic, completely exhausted foundation for Bipolar Scorpio. I'm talking, of course, about Tired.
And what's so fascinating about Tired is that it's sonic evidence of his state of being. We've both heard the leaked audio.
We have.
And the mood, the production, it feels dense, heavy, and just incredibly atmospheric. It's exactly what you would expect from the mastery of DJ Rai Farrar.
I find his choice of producer here to be so deliberate.
Yeah.
DJ Rai Farrar, River Simone Lawson, she's known for her mastery of chill trap, atmospheric R&B, and those very distinctive lo-fi drum patterns.
Right.
When you hear her tag at the beginning, that whispered, "River's messing with them drums again," it usually signals something kind of spacey, almost a meditative groove.
Exactly. So why choose an incredibly dense, atmospheric soundscape for a song about exhaustion?
That's the question.
I think the sonic density mirrors the psychological burden. The chill trap elements create this echo chamber, a feeling of being trapped in your own head.
And the lo-fi drums are just beating out this sluggish, heavy pace like a heart struggling against gravity.
Yes, the production is physically embodying the fatigue he's describing. It's beautiful, but it is suffocating.
And when you listen to D.L.B's delivery on that track, it is just radically stripped down. He's not flexing. He's not performing defiance in the usual way. He just sounds genuinely worn out.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
But there's still a little defiance in there, I think.
Oh, for sure. The defiance of just being able to articulate the exhaustion itself. He's performing the feeling of being completely fatigued. He's giving it a name.
And the lyrics, they hit you immediately with that emotional confession. He's not even hiding the artifice anymore. He says, "Got a grin on my face, but my chest feel weak. If I say I'm fine, that's a script I read."
I mean, that's not a metaphor. That's a direct confession. His public strength is a performance written for other people.
Yeah.
He is tired of reading the script.
But the next few lines reveal the core conflict, the thing that's driving this entire final run, the thing he's actually terrified of.
It's not death.
No, he's confronting mortality, but not in the standard fear of dying way. He says, I ain't scared of death, I'm scared of luck. Whole life feels stuck, I'm just tired as fuck.
That is such a crucial insight. What does it mean he's scared of luck?
Well, luck implies randomness, right? The possibility of things getting better or worse without his control.
And he's all about control.
All about it. He built his entire career on absolute control, the V2V philosophy, vision before venture. To be afraid of luck is to be afraid of losing control of the narrative, which, in his mind, is worse than death.
So it's the fear of a life stuck in this uncontrolled loop of success and pain, not the fear of the end.
Precisely. And that line, I'm just tired as fuck, that feels like the mission statement for the entire bipolar Scorpio project.
But then he layers in that sharp social commentary that only he can deliver when he's truly fed up.
The D.L.B. special.
I don't vent to no soul. They just weaponize, turn a soft moment to a mouthful of lies.
And that is the professional defense mechanism built right into the art. He knows that his vulnerability, his mental health, his chaos, it's all currency in the industry.
He's tired of people monetizing his pain. Fans, critics, collaborators, whoever.
This links directly back to that core V2V concept of ownership as protection. If the world is going to inevitably weaponize your truth, you have to control the archive. And sometimes controlling the archive means refusing to share the truth in the first place.
And the finality in that track is just chilling. It connects directly to his retirement date. If I vanish next month, they're going to stream my name. Close me like a saint, like they knew my pain.
He is preemptively calling out the inevitable hypocrisy, the grieving public, the industry that's going to canonize him the second he's gone, ignoring all the complexity he openly shared.
It's proof that he's not just documenting his own pain. He's documenting the audience's predictable, self-serving response to it before it even happens.
It's a surgical strike against posthumous sainthood, devaluing the flood of tributes we all know are coming in January.
So if Tired gave us the public fatigue, then the next leak we need to talk about gives us the isolation.
The one featuring Mirai Lux.
Missed calls, unsent texts. We move from the exhaustion of performance to the pure, uncomfortable intimacy of withdrawal.
And the production on this track, done by Hustle Harmonics, his core team, is just perfect for this.
It really is.
Their signature sound is that dark warmth, that intimate energy, those rich lo-fi textures. You hear that cinematic, almost muffled undercurrent.
And the producer tag, Hustle Harmonics, delivered in that female whisper. It sets a mood of almost uncomfortable closeness.
Like we're listening through a door that should be shut.
Yeah. And Mirai Lux, the tri-heritage vocalist and a key member of the Chronic Eye Collective, she is the perfect voice for the wounded muse here.
She often represents the emotional reality of his self-destructive nightlife period.
Her hook is just the voice of emotional paralysis. She's speaking for anyone who's been close to his chaos. Whole truth stuck between my thumb and my chest. I could have said stay. I could have said don't go.
Right, with that blend of R&B smoothness and genuine lived intensity, she brings such a raw quality to that admission. She speaks for anyone who is emotional collateral in his volatility.
That line she has, then my heart lived and died the messages I never hit send. It just synthesizes the entire theme of unspoken grief.
But it's D.L.B's verse that carries the real, raw, autobiographical weight. He gets so specific.
Intensely specific. Revealing the depth of a night of suicidal ideation and, crucially, his deliberate refusal to burden Mirai.
I had a night where the pills looked friendly on the sink. Your name popped up, last person that I knew would care, but I told myself, don't bother her, that shit ain't fair.
It's this moment of painful, deliberate sacrifice.
Right.
But he frames it as protection.
He's choosing emotional isolation to protect someone he cares about, even when he desperately needed help. It reinforces that whole narrative that he believes love should never be a burden.
A very complicated philosophy that has defined so many of his relationships.
He believes true strength is enduring alone, even if that isolation is completely self-inflicted.
And the chilling conclusion of this track, it just solidifies this unsent legacy concept that we're seeing across all the leagues.
If I vanish and you search for what I meant in the end, you can find more in the shit I never said than what I did send.
He is explicitly telling the listener, telling you, that the truest version of him lives in the drafts, in the silences, in the moments he chose to withhold.
He is teaching us how to read his absence. The unspoken is the archive. The silence is the structure. I mean, that is a profoundly dark and complex piece of creative control.
He's demanding that we prioritize his deletions over his publications.
Yeah.
And this intense lyrical urgency, this feeling of racing against time and being tired as fuck, it brings us directly to the darkest rumor circulating.
The one from the Maybank local community threads.
Yep.
The infamous Our Small Town Leaks post. It was deleted in minutes, but, screenshot thousands of times, and it birthed the Maybank deadline theory.
Which is the unverified claim that his January 1st departure is not a peaceful retirement,
but a hard, unavoidable deadline due to an undisclosed illness.
The alleged whisper, quoted from someone claiming to be close to his family, is just haunting. It adds immediate stakes to every single lyric we just talked about.
I don't got it as long as everybody thinks. I gotta finish what I started.
Chillin'.
The Maybank community, they have a vested interest in the emotional narrative of their hometown hero. So whether this is true or not, this rumor immediately becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy for the fandom.
I saw a Reddit user at Small Town Skeptic point out that this theory explains everything.
It does. The breakneck urgency, the decision to drop 2 major albums within days of each other, the intensely emotional, mortal tone of these final tracks, it gives a clean, tragic logic to all the chaos.
But okay, hold on a minute. This is D.L.B. we are talking about.
Right.
Isn't it just as likely that this deadline is the ultimate, most dramatic piece of self-mythologizing he could possibly invent? He controls every aspect of his persona.
So what better way to cement your legacy than to imply that you died for your art?
Exactly.
That is the core tension. It's hard to trust the source, but it aligns perfectly with the art. Someone on X noted, if he was sick, he'd never say it publicly. He'd turn it into art instead.
He would use the feeling of a ticking clock, even if the clock wasn't real, to give weight to his final output.
This whole narrative just hinges on whether he is documenting an illness or performing a deadline.
And the genius of D.L.B. is that we can't tell the difference, and he engineered it that way. But either way, the urgency feels genuine, and it sets the stage for the album immediately following 11 Dreams, which feels less like a confession and more like an organized ceremony.
So moving to the second album in this final rushed run, 11 Dreams, scheduled for November 28th.
Right.
If Bipolar Scorpio is the raw, painful confession of what he feels, 11 Dreams is widely perceived as the actual emotional and spiritual exit ramp. It's the door he walks through.
The concept of the dream has always been a key part of his world building. It's tied to the whole Neon Vision Studios aesthetic, his Daniel's Vision persona.
The title itself ties back to themes of duality and finality. We even see it referencing the Bipolar Scorpio themes in an alleged leaked lyric.
Which one is that?
I ain't never been scared of the ticking clock, bipolar mind with a soul still blessed. If the dark want me, then it get my best.
That suggests that 11 Dreams is less about a random collection of songs,
and more about a conceptual structure designed specifically for his departure.
So the crucial question fans are asking is this album the archive of the dreams he achieved, or is it the burial ground for the dreams he abandoned?
And the entire mythology of this album pivots around one single visual artifact, the cover art.
Those 4 distinct ascending female silhouettes.
And fans are not treating this as just an aesthetic choice. They're treating this visual as a complex roadmap for his final exit strategy, generating multiple, highly detailed theories that try to decode his final message.
This is where it gets really interesting, and where the fandom has done, all the heavy lifting for him.
For sure. Let's dive into the 4 women mega theory, starting with the psychological one that ties back perfectly to the vulnerability of bipolar Scorpio.
Right.
Theory A, often debated in the SAR mental health ARC threads, is the 4 fractures. This theory argues that the women don't represent people at all.
Right, they're aspects of him.
They represent the 4 most disruptive aspects of his bipolar condition that he is actively leaving behind. They are symbolized by their ascent. They're walking away from him toward a final light.
And those 4 fractures are identified as mania, depression, dissociation, and clarity. How does that map onto his work?
Well, mania represents the hyperproductive, chaotic, financially destructive periods like the Vegas era excess.
Got it.
Depression is the isolation and fatigue we hear on Tired. Dissociation is the masking, the performing of the script, the separation between Daniel Bates and D.L.B.
And clarity is the destination, the final, difficult step toward emotional integration and peace that only happens when the music stops.
The gate they're walking toward is the end of the artistic struggle.
I find that incredibly compelling. It positions the album not as a farewell to his fans, but as a farewell to his illness.
But if we accept that these are the fractures, how does that undermine the other idea that he's just ghosting his collaborators?
That's the necessary friction in analyzing D.L.B. You have to hold both truths at the same time.
You do, because Theory B goes in a completely different, almost mythological direction. The four arbiters.
This is the one from the Reddit deep lore threads. There's symbolic judges.
Right, leading him to the final judgment hallway. And fans have meticulously categorized their roles. The arbiter of love, ambition, desire, and memory.
So love judges his interpersonal relationships. Did he use or honor his muses?
Ambition judges his commercial success versus his artistic vision. Desire assesses his pursuit of pleasure, and memory judges his lasting imprint. He's accepting judgment from the feminine archetypes he spent his whole career writing about.
So he's not just walking away. He's submitting to a celestial performance review.
Pretty much.
But the messiest and maybe the most grounded theory, for those of us who track the 11 SIX roster, is Theory C.
The unfinished quartet. This one ties the cover directly to the emotional and creative collateral damage of the 11 SIX label.
So the silhouettes are the ghosts of abandoned female collaborations.
Yes, ones that broke the artist muse system he built. And these aren't just random women, they are structurally vital to the 11 SIX sound.
We should probably contextualize why these four names matter so much.
Absolutely. The first silhouette is tied to the unfinished song with Zong Sky, the Juilliard-trained vocalist. The second is the Manila Session snippet with Talalianeri, who is arguably his first muse.
The first major break from the system when she changed her name.
Right. The third is the cut pop duet with Leona J., the collaborator who represented his bid for mainstream success, a venture he ultimately killed. And the fourth is the vanished nightlife anthem with Mari Lux.
The muse from his Vegas era, whose experience we just dissected in missed calls, unsent texts.
The tragic interpretation here is that the women ascending represent the work that couldn't be completed, or the relationships that were sacrificed, because the emotional entanglement just became too volatile.
A Tumblr blogger at Unholy Prophet said the cover is the burial ritual of the scrapped dreams.
So if bipolar Scorpio is the confession, 11 Dreams is the funeral. The cover isn't a celebration, it's a burial of the friendships and muses he broke along the way.
He's acknowledging the casualties of his ambition before walking out the door.
Which leads us right into the wilder, almost sci-fi theories that pop up when an artist controls their output this severely.
The quantum theory on Reddit.
The quantum theory suggests the cover is a metaphor for parallel timelines. Each woman is a variant of his future. Fame, love, anonymity, and truth.
And he's choosing the doorway.
Implying he rejects all visible paths in favor of an unseen fifth dimension, a future that exists entirely outside the public gaze.
That aligns perfectly with the sense of total withdrawal we're seeing. He's not retiring to a beach, he's retiring from reality itself.
But the darkest, most structural theory is the cleansing date theory.
From our numerology, Noy.
This one says that January 1st, 2026 isn't the retirement date. It's the program date when an automated script will scour the internet and execute a total erasure of his entire digital presence.
A digital martyrdom, why would he do that?
It connects directly to his deepest philosophical drive. Ownership as protection. If he can't fully control the narrative after he leaves, the only way to truly protect the archive is to destroy it entirely.
If he deletes the master copies, he maintains ultimate control.
Exactly. He leaves behind only physical copies and bootlegs, turning the entire post-career fandom into a search for fragmented ghosts.
So the 11 Dreams cover becomes the final, verifiable archive before deletion.
Right. As Reddit user Search Recraft noted, the departure forces the fandom to finish the story, because the original material will be wiped. It's the ultimate act of silence's structure.
He takes the archive with him, forcing us to deal with the echoes.
That is heavy. It shifts the entire focus from a simple artistic decision to a digital act of war against the industry and his own legacy.
It's the maximum possible exertion of control in the streaming age.
And the emotional core of these last two albums hinges entirely on his relationship with the collective he built.
Crown Xme. If he's walking away from his fans, he's also abandoning his collaborators. Let's talk about the Crown Xme collapse theory.
Crown Xme, the female layered vocal engine of 11 SIX, Moray Lux, Zong Sky, Leona J. They're all critical to that sound.
They provide that emotional softness, the layered harmonies, the collective muse energy.
The fan theory on our group dynamics is that this collective only existed because D.L.B emotionally held them together as the center of their professional universe.
That structural dependency makes perfect sense. They were managed by Dream 2 Real, but their artistic cohesion relied entirely on D.L.B. setting the tone.
And fans speculate that his exit will trigger one of three things: a rotation into solo work that they can't handle, the collective officially disbanding.
Or severe internal jealousy as they fight over the scarce resources left behind.
The structure was built on his vision. Once the architect leaves, the structure falls.
We're seeing what some fans are calling the split prophecy, a civil war in aesthetics between the Dream loyalists who want to maintain his vision and the Scorpio modernists who want to use the collapse as a springboard for solo work.
The problem is the emotional collateral. That mantra, multiplicity is strength, it required severe emotional compartmentalization from him. And that means people inevitably get left behind.
We have some incredibly raw evidence of the pain caused by this. That alleged Mariah Luck's close friends leak is brutal.
Yeah. That leak, supposedly captured from her private story before she deleted hundreds of posts, it read, "He said he'd dream me into something they couldn't delete. Then he ghosted like I never existed."
Wow.
That statement just encapsulates the fundamental failure of his muse system. He promised her immortality through his art, and then he just cut the connection and disappeared.
Her entire identity, professionally and emotionally, was tied to his artistic promise. When he pulls the plug on himself, he pulls the plug on her definition of herself.
It highlights the dark side of V2V. His pursuit of artistic autonomy causes real emotional damage in his orbit. Mariah's statement just points to the pain of being defined by an artist who then removes himself entirely.
The art is the exit strategy, and the collaborators are the casualties.
Which leads us to the final lyrical statement that feels like his ultimate justification for all of this. The alleged leak, "You never loved me."
Widely assumed to be his final word on the toxic relationship between the artist, the industry, and the fan base.
It's an anti-clout anthem, pure and simple. The central theme is the weaponization of his emotional vulnerability.
He's directly challenging the audience's motives. He says, "You wanted my scars, but not the way that they bleed."
It's just a raw anger of realization. He's calling out the parasocial lust of an audience that thrives on artist distress. He raps, "You wanted my truth till it stopped serving your needs."
He's arguing that the demand for authenticity isn't a desire for his well-being. It's a demand for material that feeds their own consumption needs.
And once his trauma stopped producing compelling content, he became disposable. He's condemning the industry's entire business model in the process.
Industry love me when I break on cue. Long as the breakdown trend, they gotta push that through.
This song is the spiritual justification for his retirement. He's done allowing his deepest trauma, his bipolar condition, his grief, to be monetized for others' gain.
He's boiling it down to that single, brutal truth. You never loved me, you just loved my pain.
That is the most honest declaration an artist can make when walking away. He's prioritizing his closure over their entertainment.
And that ties everything back to vision before venture. The commercial success, the venture, means nothing if it compromises the personal truth, the vision. The exit is the ultimate expression of his philosophy.
That entire narrative we just laid out, the decision to bury the ego, the commercial ambitions, and prioritize closure, that's what defined his final year. It was the perfect, controlled, philosophical exit.
He chose the quiet, autobiographical route over the global.
Right. The way he handled Angels and Demons was the proof. That enormous, star-studded project, he killed it in favor of introspective albums like a rumored Mercy's Return. He cemented the mythology of his sacrifice.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Stop.
What is it? You look like you just saw a ghost.
I just got a notification. My secured inbox just pinged. This is possible.
Yeah.
The file name is A&D Leak.
A&D? Are you serious? Are you talking about Angels and Demons?
Yes.
The Ghost album. The one he intentionally vaulted to protect his vision. The one we've been analyzing the mythology of its absence.
The Hell Cut. The blueprint of the supernova that never dropped. I am opening the file now. It's a full high-fidelity track list. It's a PDF or an image of the whole thing.
This is the artifact. This is the ego project he sacrificed. This is the proof of the commercial mountain he chose not to climb. What's on it?
I'm reading this. I'm looking at the collaborations, and I can tell you right now, this is structurally impossible. This album was supposed to be dead, buried. The audacity of this roster.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to hear these titles.
Read them. We need to know what he hit.
Okay. Track 2 is listed as For the Night, Good Girl Gone Bad, featuring Bruno Mars and Felix of Stray Kids.
What? No, that's impossible. That combines a global pop heavyweight, K-pop, and Texas trap, all held together by 11 SIX production. That lineup alone defies the laws of music industry physics.
Wait, it gets worse. Look at track 16, the one rumored to be the accidental historical collision. Same girl. featuring Kanye West and Drake Prod by Boy Wonder.
The Truce record, the one he allegedly recorded and then buried in 2018 at the height of their feuds. The clearance wars alone would shut down a small country. That was supposed to be mythological ghost lore.
And finally, the rumored ultimate climax, the commercial nuclear device, track 20. Angel Wings, featuring Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Rose from Blackpink, and Kendrick Lamar.
Oh my God, that is the very definition of the ego project he killed. That lineup is the ultimate commercial nuclear option. The ego project is alive. The vault has been cracked open.
I'm getting another alert now at the same time. It's a drive link. Okay, this drive link. It contains the cover art for the other rumored project, Mercy's Return.
No way. The ego project and the healing project leaking simultaneously right before the two final official albums drop. The universe is unvaulting the narrative he tried so desperately to control.
The cover art for Mercy's Return looks authentic. It's highly professional. And there is a folder labeled audio. It claims to contain 6 leaked tracks.
Including the ones we just analyzed.
Tired, Missed Calls, but also 4 other previously unheard tracks.
This is an instant external disruption of his controlled exit. His decision to bury Angels and Demons was his final statement of artistic autonomy. Now that it's leaked, the entire meaning of his retirement shifts.
Everything we just discussed about self-control and the purity of his vision has been immediately undercut by an external leak.
I'm looking at the A&D track list again. The features are just staggering, and now we have the alleged audio for the Healing Project. This is too much to process live on air.
It is. This requires immediate, dedicated analysis. This is the chaos we thrive on.
We need an emergency deep dive. We have to understand the implications of what this means for the next 4 weeks.
Absolutely. We are cutting this deep dive right here. We will fully unpack the Angels and Demons track list, the 2 versions, the redacted tracks, all of it, and we will review whatever is in that Mercy's Return audio leak folder after we've had time to listen.
This changes everything. We need to figure out what it means for his legacy now that the universe has unvaulted the ego project he tried to destroy.
We're going to work. We'll be back with an emergency session soon.
Unbelievable.
Final provocative thought. Since the choice to vault Angels and Demons was considered his final act of artistic autonomy, prioritizing closure over commercial success, what does it mean for his legacy now that the universe has unvaulted it for him?
Did his engineered silence fail? Or is this leak simply the final, unavoidable piece of his narrative that he never truly intended to control?
We'll see you in the next deep dive.
We have work to do.
We're out.